Hi, I'm Rich with Air Gear. Many of the solutions that we develop for Air Gear start right here in our own Airstream. I try out various solutions, I try to work up hacks of my own. Some of them work, some of them don't. I'm going to show you one of my favorite recent hacks. It's not going to be an Air Gear product, but it is something that you might want to do yourself in your own Airstream if you have ducted air. One of the annoying design flaws of Airstreams with ducted air is that they often have these air returns, and they're fastened with 4 Phillip screws. Taking those screws out is kind of a pain because you have to do it over your head, and you have to remove those screws if you want to check the filter inside. It's important to check the filter because the filters can get dusty and clogged up, and that reduces the efficiency of your air conditioning. But it's such a pain. The fact is, most of the time, I didn't do it. So I wanted a better solution. Here's what I came up with. Instead of 4 screws, I decided to use rare earth magnets to hold this thing in place. And that makes removing it so simple. You just take it down, you can check the air filter, easy as pie. Clean it with a dry piece of paper towel if it's dusty, and then pop it right back into place. No fuss, no muss. I've used this solution for over 4,000 miles in our Airstream, including some very bumpy roads, and it has never come loose. So I'm thinking it works pretty well. I'll show you how you can do this on your Airstream. No drilling, no fuss, and you only need 6 things to do the job. First of all, of course, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. That's to remove the 4 original screws that are up there. But trust me, this is the last time you'll ever have to do that. You'll also need a rivet tool. Now, a good rivet tool is a great thing to have in your Airstream at any time. If you have the Air Gear rivet tool kit, you already have a good quality rivet tool, and you have the next thing that you're going to need, which is 4 1/8 inch pop rivets. These are very common aluminum pop rivets. You can find them in hardware stores. They do come included in the Air Gear rivet kit. You'll also need some rare earth magnets. Now, they're very specific rare earth magnets, and I've got the specs for them in the video, so you'll be able to see it in the description below. There's 4 of these large ones, which have holes in them, and you'll see why in a minute. And then there's 4 of these small ones that are sort of decorative, and they look like buttons when they're on the top. That's why I chose them, because they look like they were supposed to be there. And the last thing that you'll need is some super glue. The first step is to remove the 4 existing screws. Now that you've taken the screws out and removed the cover, you're going to take the larger of the magnets, the one with the hole in it, and you're going to slide it up between the aluminum roof and the insulation, and then put a rivet through it. And we're going to fasten it with a rivet. Our next step is to fasten the rivet with our rivet tool. All right. Now make sure that the rivet is pressed up fully to the ceiling, nice and tight, like that, before you start squeezing the rivet tool. Now we'll repeat that step for the next 3 rivets and magnets. Okay, we've got all 4 of our large magnets in place with rivets. Now, if you find that one of the magnets is loose and wants to slide up off the rivet, don't worry about it. It's still going to stay in place. I've had a couple of them that are just a little bit loose, and they won't fall down because the other magnet is holding them in place during transit. Before we go to the next step, we have to make sure that we have our magnets oriented correctly. Magnets have north and south poles. So you want to take your little magnets and put them up to the big ones and find out if they want to stick. If they don't want to stick, you need to turn them upside down so that they do. Make sure that you get all 4 magnets oriented the right way before you glue them up, because if you don't, your vent cover is not going to stick. we're going to be supergluing the small magnets over the screw holes on the vent cover. And again, it's important to make sure the north-south polarity is correct before you put the glue on. I recommend doing each magnet one at a time and verifying that you've got the polarity correct before you apply the superglue. Test fit the vent each time you put a magnet in place before moving on to the next magnet. And that's it, hack complete. Now you can easily check your vents anytime you want to, give them a quick clean, and pop it back up in place. This whole thing cost about $25 or $30, not counting the cost of the rivet tool, assuming you already have that. And it makes this so much easier. Now you can make sure that your air conditioner filters are running efficiently anytime you want.